Hello everyone, my name is Maria and I'm a project advisor here at Advisicon. Today what we get to talk about is the fundamentals of Microsoft Teams. So if you'll join me today, let's get started. So today we get to talk a little bit about what is Microsoft Teams. We'll talk about what questions to ask yourselves when beginning to start it, how the layout is, and other things you can consider when utilizing Microsoft Teams. What is Microsoft Teams? Microsoft Teams is a collaborative hub. It's a place where you can be managing your projects, where you can be storing your files, reporting on your different projects and looking at different reports for different parts of the projects you're tracking. You can have chats, you can also do meetings, you can host calls, files. All of this is available within the one space of Microsoft Teams. Over the past few months, there's been a large growth of use of Microsoft Teams. 93 Fortune 500 companies are utilizing it. There's at least over 650,000 companies using this team for collaboration and communication of their projects, just within the company. And it's available also within 53 different languages. Over 181 different markets. Its growth has been huge, especially with the occurrences of this year. There's several different value points you can be looking at when it comes to Microsoft Teams. You've got the ability to communicate more effectively. Microsoft Teams is available over web-based. It's available as an app both for your laptop and for your phone. So with this, you can be communicating at any time, whether it's urgent or whether you just need to get something across at some point in time, which allows you to work better together. With Microsoft Teams, you can share your documents, you can share links that are of where documents are hosted, all of this, and then store your documents within Teams, and then also SharePoint, because SharePoint is the back end of Microsoft Teams. You can also customize your workspace. This isn't a one-size-fits-all software. You can customize your Microsoft Teams for your company so that it better suits you so that you can communicate effectively. And it keeps your team secure. Your company can customize the security settings for Microsoft Teams. And with that, then you get the security that you need, but at the same time, the communication and collaboration that you're looking for when it comes to your organization and your projects. So a little bit of what's included with Microsoft Teams. When you create a team, you get the ability to have an Office 365 group, you get a modern SharePoint site with a document library, you have your Outlook mailbox, you get a shared calendar, and you get an ability to connect a planner board, Power BI report, project schedules, all within one channel within Microsoft Teams. You can have these across one channel, across multiple channels. All of this can come together to give you a collaborative space that allows you to efficiently cycle from one app to another. Now I'm just going to jump straight into my demonstration. So we're going to go here and we're going to look at Microsoft Teams and all of the features available. So here we have Microsoft Teams. This section is specifically for the Teams space. We have here on your left navigation some key things that you should be aware of. So first off, on the top here, we just have the activity. The activity button here allows you to see anything that's been recent, whether it's a missed call. For example, I missed a call from David yesterday, whether somebody's mentioned you within a team, and if you have any tasks assigned to you through Microsoft Planner. So here you can also connect to see the history of any past calls. So if anything was missed or if anybody has recently called you, you can see that within your history here and your activities. Over here to your left, we also have chats. So with Microsoft Teams, you can actually chat whether it's one-on-one or whether it's a group of people. So I can actually go here, you can see on the top, I had a communication with Gayla and Amy this morning. We were talking about our timesheets. Where also I can talk one-on-one with my coworker David. If I need to start a new conversation here, I can. I can go up here to the top of the chat pane and I can click this little edit button to do a new chat where I could reach out to one of our demo users, Sarah Davis. So from here I have this chat window. In here I can type a message, I can tell her hello. If needed, and if I need to call her, I could actually go up to the right-hand corner here and click this little call icon. I also have the ability to do a video conversation or just begin sharing my web screen. So if you're in a situation where the other person can't really talk on the phone, you can actually just share your screen and chat back and forth in order to fix the issue that you're looking to solve. Over here, if I wanted to, I could actually add people to this conversation. So you can start something one-on-one, but potentially add somebody at a later time. So if I wanted to go ahead and add Blake, I could. And now we have a larger group to communicate with. Nice thing about the chats is you can also share files one-on-one. So if I needed to, I could actually go to this Files tab here in the upper left-hand corner of my chat window, click Files, and actually drag and drop files into here. And this stores them within the chat, and I can go back at any different time to get those files again. So for example, if you're exchanging files with your finance department, you can actually upload those Excel sheets to your conversation with them, and then they can reference them at any different time. So up here on the right-hand corner, if I wanted to, I can actually utilize this refresh button. So that way, if I'm not seeing a file immediately, I can just refresh it to see if it'll come up. I'm going to jump back here to this chat because there's a lot of different buttons that are actually available. So if we go down here where I'm typing a message, it's more than just typing a message back and forth. I can format it. I have the ability to click this little A here, and I can bold, italicize, underline, strike through. I can highlight different text if I need to. All of the standard formatting functionality that you usually get with Microsoft, whether it's Word or Excel, it's available here. I can actually go ahead and do bulleted lists. I can quote somebody. I can add a link at any time. There's lots of different options here. I can utilize code snippets. I can insert a table. If something is very important, you need to communicate that, I could just go ahead and mark this message as important. So when I tell her, I need your help, and I go to the bottom right here, I can click send. They'll see that this is a very important message of which I need their help with it instantly. So down here also, if I want to, because you know, company communication is a positive thing, you also have the ability to send emojis, whether it's happy, sad, silly. There's also GIFs available too that can be fun to send amongst coworkers. These communications don't just have to be one-on-one. This can be on a group setting as well, which we'll touch on in just a moment. So if I want to, within my chats, I can actually add different applications. So if I need to communicate something specific with my group here, I could click the little plus button at the top of the window. And now I have access to all of these different apps within Microsoft Teams to put into my chat. So I could add a note, OneNote, I could add a website. If you wanted to add an Excel document, make sure to add it to the Files tab, because if it's not there, Microsoft Teams is not going to know where to look. I could also do a Power BI report, Visio document, or Word document. Again, for Visio and Word and PowerPoint, that file does need to be within your Files tab first off, if you're going to add them as a tab. Now, if we jump back here to the left navigation, we're going to go to Teams. So this is where you can have group-wide communication. Anybody within these teams here can receive communication about any of the relevant topics. So some companies like to have an organization team where everybody in the company is included. And you can have then company-wide announcements, you can have fun communication back and forth where you can exchange GIFs or emojis, but it can be company-wide. So here we have your existing teams. For anybody who's new to Microsoft Teams, this will be empty. And if you wanted to go ahead and create a team, we're actually going to go down here to join or create a team. From here you can see any existing teams. So if somebody has built a team and you're not necessarily a part of it yet, you could go in and join it by hovering over and click Join Team. Now what I'm going to do is create a new one today. So you have the option, and this is a recent development, to either build a team from scratch or you can build from an existing team. So if you wanted to build out a template team and then copy it over and over and over, you can. But today we're going to just build from scratch. Now, the ability to make it private or public is a little bit of that security customization. If this is something only specific people are supposed to be a part of, let's say a surprise or a confidential project, you could do a private group, which means that only people who are invited would be able to be added. Or you can make it a public group. The other groups that you're seeing that I could potentially be a part of are public groups. I can add myself to them. What we're going to do here is do a public and do Microsoft Teams demo. And add a description. It's always good to have a description in your Microsoft Teams so that everybody knows what they're joining and what the purpose of it is for. Now, when you initially create a team, you are the only one who's a part of it. And when you build it, it creates, or it gives you the option to create a new Microsoft 365 group. So here, because we're creating it from scratch, it's creating it with an Office 365 group. And now I get to choose who I want the members to be. So I could add Blake. I could choose to add Amanda. I can go ahead and click Add. From here, then I determine what their role is in this. Are they a member? Are they an owner? Maybe I'll go ahead and make Amanda an owner, but Blake a member, and then when I'm done, I'll click Close. And that group will begin to be created. And when you create an Office 365 team, you get this general channel. This channel comes as a default for every Microsoft 365 team. And then here, you can begin customizing. So initially, with a general channel, you get your Posts tab up here on the upper left-hand corner, your Files, and your Wiki. So your Files is actually a SharePoint library. So if I wanted to, once this starts loading, I could actually open this in SharePoint and be able to look at all of my documents through a SharePoint library view. But in the meantime, we're going to stay in Teams. And then lastly, what I get with it is Wiki. So Wiki, what we usually do is just go ahead and remove this tab because you also have the ability to add Microsoft OneNote. And with OneNote, you can have that across all of your different channels, across all of your different teams. And you can be storing all of your notes related to the company within OneNote. And then you can access that at a different location as well because OneNote is a separate application. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just right-click and remove Wiki. I'm going to show you how you can add a new tab. So from up here in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to click this plus button. So with Microsoft Teams, you can add various different apps to the channels. You can add different Office 365 applications, whether it's Planner, OneNote, Word, Excel. You can also add Power BI. With things like Word or Excel, you want to make sure that those documents have been uploaded to the channel first, just like we were talking about with the chats. Otherwise, Microsoft Teams is not going to know where to look for that document. Other things like Planner, you can either connect to an existing board or you can create a new one. Power BI, you can connect to existing reports that you have in your organization. This will allow for multiple different people to be able to see the reports in one central location. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a Planner board for this. And so you can do this with existing Power BI reports. You can do it with your project schedules or other websites. There is an application to add websites as well. So here we go, Microsoft Teams demo. If I ever wanted to, I could do an existing plan. So if you want to have the same plan across multiple channels, you can do that. The only thing is you need to make sure that they're connected to the same Office 365 group. If they're connected to the same Office 365 group, then you can connect them to various different teams. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. and there's my planner board. Now within your posts, so I'm going to jump back to posts here, you can actually communicate across the organization. So I could create a new conversation. Say this is my demo Teams channel. And from here, Blake, Amanda, they could all come in and start communicating, and we could be talking about relevant things for this team. So for example, if we were in the Advisicon nonprofit services, we could go in and start communicating about the nonprofit related items. If we were in our project management team, we would go in there and talk about the projects we're managing. And you can keep the conversations relevant to the different channels or the different teams. If I wanted to add a different channel, I would go over here back to the team that we just created, and I would click this 3 ellipses here. And I could go ahead and add a channel. Now from here I can also add a member, I can manage my team. By manage team, it's talking about security and the members. I can also add a member. I can leave the team. So if I no longer need to be a part of this team, I can leave if I need to. I can edit the team itself. I can get a link to it. So if I needed to share a link with one of my coworkers and they needed to access this team, I could actually grab a link and send it to them. In this case, I'm just going to add a channel. And I'm going to just make sure the privacy is standard. But if I ever needed to, I could actually create a private one here. So this would be then just for a specific group of people within the team. We're going to just do standard today. Now it's important to be thinking a little bit ahead when you're building out your Microsoft Teams, just because you want to make sure not to have too many channels and too many teams filling up your environment. Things you can be thinking about are how do we want to manage our projects, what do we need in our Teams channels, and what do we want to be communicating across the organization. Thinking about these things ahead of time can allow you to build only the teams and channels that you need. That way you can have a cleaner environment in your Microsoft Teams. Now, if there are some things that you don't necessarily need to see now, or maybe you don't want to see very often, you can actually hide things. You'll notice down here on my Teams channel, I have hidden teams. So I could actually go ahead and click the team for the demo team. I can click the 3 ellipses, and I can click this hide. And now it's no longer within my view. So if you guys do end up needing a lot of the Microsoft Teams, you can actually hide only the ones that you don't need very often and have the ones that are relevant to you on the top and visible. So see here we have our Teams demo channel, and then from here we get the standard post files wikis. If we go here, we could just out of the box just choose Planner, OneNote, website. I could get all of this different tabs just initially spun up. Or again, I could do a conversation. If I needed to host a meeting for the people within this team, I could go up here to my right-hand corner and click this Meet button. If I click this Meet button, it'll send an invitation in order to meet everybody at once. I could also choose to schedule a meeting with the people of this team. So if I wanted to go ahead and schedule a meeting, they'll receive a notification for this, so I'm going to go ahead and write, this is a demo meeting. Do not attend. And then I could go ahead and apply the regular attendees. So I could do Blake. I'm just going to go ahead and add him today. And I could add optional people too. So if I wanted to add optional of Amanda, I can. And then I would set the time, and I could choose whether if I need to be repeated or not. And then it'll tell you which team and which channel it's associated with. So it allows me to categorize my meetings. I could add a location if it was here, either here, or I could choose to do it in Microsoft Teams meetings room. And then add any details for it. When I'm done, I can click send, and it'll send a meeting invitation to them. And it'll post it on the posts here for the community. That way they can see that we have a meeting upcoming related to this team. So other things that to be aware of here are we could go into our calendar section. So calendar here, you have the ability to look at all of your different meeting invites, all of your different hours breakouts, all of your Microsoft Teams meetings, and you can join them from there. So if I go here and I needed to join a Microsoft Teams meeting that I know, so for example, our professional services stand-up, I could go ahead and click that. I can open the calendar invitation and I can join it, whether it's now, whether it was in this morning when we were hosting it. And then when I join it, other people will see a notification that I've started the meeting because I'm the first one there. If other people join in, then I'll see a notification that they've started the meeting. Meetings can also be recorded. So if I was to join this meeting, I would actually be able to record the sessions. So if I went back to my calendar and I opened up this as a demo and I click join, it's going to open up a separate window, which again, this is a new feature that's come out with Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this and click join now. See here, it'll tell me my audio's on, it'll tell me my, my camera's off. But from here, this is the new interface that Microsoft has for Teams meetings. So I could go ahead and I could look at the participants here on the upper right-hand corner. You'll notice if you're familiar with Teams that they've shifted where all of this is located. And now I know I find myself always navigating to the middle of this window, but all of the functionality for the Teams is now available in your upper right-hand corner. I can see who's attending, who's here, and if they've responded, if they can come or not. I can also choose to manage the permissions of the meetings. If I need to send a link or if I needed to invite somebody specifically, I could. Other things available is you can have a conversation in the meeting. So if somebody's potentially talking but you still need to be adding your input into the meeting, you can actually have a chat here. And I could put chat notes here. If somebody is talking, for example, a presentation, you can actually raise your hand to show that you have a question. Additional actions include you can have meeting notes, meeting details. If you wanted to turn off the gallery or turn on the large gallery, you can do that. Now you need to have people attending to obviously help them do that. Recently, Microsoft has added the ability to have background effects, so you can have your beach behind you, you could have your office, you could have puppies, you could have various different things applied as a background. You can turn on live captions, and you can start a recording. If you wanted to start a recording, to access it once it's done, you need to be one of the ones who hosted the meeting. You need to be in that organization. But then you can manage to record your meetings and keep the details in a recording versus almost catching everything in notes, because every once in a while things get missed. So you can see here in our chats that the recording has started. If I wanted to stop the recording, all I have to do is click those ellipses again and click stop recording. Once it's done, it'll save everything in Microsoft Stream. And in Stream, you can download it, send it, share it to any of the people who have attended, to whoever might end up needing it. So you can see here that recording is being saved. If you want to share your screen, all you have to do is click this little up arrow here. From here, you can share your content, whether it's your screen 1, your screen 2. If you wanted to share a specific application, you could. For example, I could share just my Microsoft Teams. So anybody who was a part of this meeting and seeing my screen would see just Microsoft Teams. If I opened up a PowerPoint, if I opened up a Word document, they would still just see Microsoft Teams. When I'm done wanting to share, I can take this little window here and I can click this little square with the X in the middle. Then I would be done sharing, or I could change which window I'm sharing and be able to switch back and forth from whatever they need to see. Or I can just share my entire desktop. That is always an option. So if I clicked this up arrow here and I clicked screen 1 or screen 2, they would be able to see my entire screen. When I switched applications, they would be able to see me switching between applications. If you want, you can actually include your computer sound. So this is a really cool application. If I chose this little button up here and I wanted to share a YouTube video, I could. Now right now it's not letting me because I'm doing, it's not connected currently to my speakers, but you can always include computer sound. That way, if you wanted to share a YouTube video, that way if you needed to share, if you wanted to share certain music, you could. Now I'm going to go ahead and hide sharing options. When you're done in a meeting, all you have to do is just leave. You can click this red button here and you'll close the meeting for you. So when you have your meeting closed and you want to access that recording we talked about a minute ago, you can actually open up that invitation and access the chat for it. So you can see here in the meeting invitation, I can go up here to details, but I can then also navigate next to chat. And then from here, you'd actually be able to see that meeting recording that we just had. So from the 3 dots here, I can choose to open in Microsoft Stream. I can share the link. I can get the link in order to send it to a coworker, or I can post it to the group. So if I wanted to share that with the group that I was talking to about a minute ago, I could go back to chats now, and I could go to the conversation I have here with Blake and Sarah, and I could send them the link to it. If you want to download this onto your desktop, you do need to open it in Microsoft Stream. So I would choose to click the link. It'll open up my, my web browser, and it'll open up the video for me to log into. So I would have to sign in. And then from Microsoft Stream, I could actually open up this video and I can actually download it. So we'll see it's playing right now, but if I scroll down, and down here I can see share, add to watch list, like, or I can click this 3 little ellipses and then choose to download that video onto my desktop, and then I have it available to me whenever I need it. Next, we can go into calls. So from here, I can talk to anybody within the organization, whether it's internal or I can talk to people that are external. I have my contacts list here, so anybody I've added to my contacts. I can go to my history and I can see the history of calls that I have. So for example, David called me yesterday. Or I could go to voicemail. So you actually, when you call somebody and somebody doesn't pick up, it goes to voicemail. And so you can access that voicemail here. Next here we have on the left navigation is files. So this will show you any files you've accessed recently, whether it was with a chat or whether it was in a Microsoft Teams channel. I can also choose to add different applications here. So you'll see OneNote here is pinned to my navigation, but I could also choose to add different ones. So if I click those 3 ellipses here, I can add Stream, I can add Planner, I can add different tools that are available within Microsoft Teams to quickly navigate back and forth between them. So here we have Stream, but I could also choose to add Planner, and it's going to switch out Planner because I haven't pinned it. So I could choose to right-click Planner and pin it to here, and then always have it accessible to me. Now, something you'll notice here in Planner is coming soon is Microsoft Tasks. Microsoft Tasks will be combining plannered items and to-do items into one central location so that you can keep track of what you have to do in one place instead of tracking that across to-do, Planner, Teams. You can all have it in one central location. Down here in apps, if we go down here, we can see all of the different apps that are available within Microsoft Teams. We could look for personal apps, bots, different tabs, connectors, different messaging apps as well. If you ever have any questions, feel free to go to this little help button and you can look for different topics, different training items, suggest a feature. If I go ahead and click suggest a feature, it'll open up the Microsoft Voices page where you can put your own opinion. This is great because Microsoft is continually looking at this site looking for good suggestions, and the more votes you receive, the more likely it'll happen. So you can actually post different opinions or different requests here, and people will vote on them. So it's awesome to go into Microsoft User Voice and post your opinion. So just for those of you who prefer to use mobile applications, Microsoft Teams does have a mobile app. So you can actually go to microsoftteams.com, get the mobile app, or you can go to your Google Play or App Store and download Microsoft Teams. And from here you can communicate with your coworkers and organizations anytime you need to. You can access the files, you can go in and share different GIFs or share different pictures from your mobile application. New features that are coming soon, so we've got the 7x7 video grid, templates in Teams. Templates is already available in Teams, so you saw earlier that you can either choose to build a Microsoft team from scratch, or you can choose to build it from a different team as an example. But different functionalities to that template are being added, because right now if you copy it, you get the same channels, you get some of the same tabs, but for example, files does not carry over with templates. So different features are being added to those templates in Teams. Other things is Teams for personal use. So you have that ability as well. Microsoft Lists has been recently released to Microsoft Teams. So if you saw earlier, there was a little icon in the tabs for Microsoft Lists. It's a new version of SharePoint Lists where you can be tracking your issues and risks, other items, whether it's portfolio level or project level. Maybe it's just something of who's baking what for the upcoming Office Bake Party. Other things that's coming is pinned posts. So you should be able to pin different posts in channels and different chats. Lots of different functionalities coming to Microsoft Teams, and I'm excited for you to get to see it. Resources that are available to you for Microsoft Teams. So you've got Teams for Home, so if you follow the link here. Also there's Teams User Voice, we just jumped there. You can post your opinions and get your different features out there for other people to vote on. Teams blog is always being updated with different information about Microsoft Teams. And also the limits and specifications that are within Microsoft Teams, so you can have that outlined for you. Thank you for tuning in today's course. We'll see you guys next time.